Welcome to Brew House. I'm Apathy Bill, and if you've ever wondered what it's like to brew your own beer, stick around with me because for the first time in my life, I'm gonna do just that and make my own beer. I have never brewed a beer before, and I honestly don't know very much about the process. I've decided to go easy on myself, and I got this home brewing kit. This one is by a company named Mr. Beer, and that is an awesome name. But everything that I need should be in this box. The first thing you'll notice is the plastic fermenter, and it's in the shape of a barrel. It actually looks really cool, so I think it'll be nice having this on the edge of the bar for the next 3 weeks or so. On top of it is a little packet of a cleaning solution to get all of the microorganisms or any bacteria out before we start the process. Next is the Mr. Beer hopped malt extract. This replaces the part of the process where you have to mix hops, barley, and water. And on top is our packet of yeast. Next up is the BrewMax booster, and I'm not exactly sure what this is for yet either, but on the label it just says it's used to add body and a bit more alcohol content. So right here are all the basic ingredients. This is all we're gonna be using to make this beer, and after 3 weeks, we bottle it. I have filled the keg up to the number 1 mark here. I'm gonna go ahead and pour 1 tablespoon in of their cleaning solution. You mix it up, let it hit everywhere within the keg. So I'm gonna screw the top on here. And I'm gonna let this solution kind of go around, leaking out the top. But there was a warning in the instructions that it may leak out the top. And once that's all shook up, you're gonna let it sit for about 2 minutes. And while that's going, I'm going to save the rest of the cleaner here because this is gonna be used for the bottles in 3 weeks to help clean those before we add the beer to that for the final half of the fermentation. Or I guess by then the fermentation is done. The carbonation process will take about 3 weeks, I think. I have my whisk to stir everything and my can opener. And these also need to be sanitized before they're used with this. The can opener, because I'm gonna use it to open up the can that has our the extract in it. And then the whisk, because I'm gonna use that to stir inside once everything is in there. To sanitize these, we're gonna take the solution that's already mixed inside here and pour it into the bowl. And just like the inside, these things need to soak for about 2 minutes. And so while those are soaking, I'm gonna go ahead and pour the rest of this out into the sink so that we can finally start the fermentation process. The next few steps required a kitchen, so I had to do it off camera. The first thing I did was take 4 cups of water and mix it into a big pot. And then I added the booster to that, and you have to start mixing the booster pretty quickly because it starts to crystallize. Then I brought the water with the booster in it up to a boil, and I let it boil for just a few moments, and then I took it off from the heat. From there, I added the brewing extract to the warm water, and you have to mix it very thoroughly because the extract is super thick, but as you mix it into the water, it loosens up. And before I added all that to the keg, I took the keg to the side and I filled it up to line 1 with cold water, and then I poured everything in. This smells really good. Before I poured all the solution that we boiled in, I already had the cold water filled up to line 1. Now I need to fill it with enough cold water to go up to 2. And then I can add the yeast and close it up. So I'm gonna add some more cold water now, and then we'll close this up and let it sit, and hopefully we'll have a delicious beer in 6 weeks. And there we are, just enough to take it up to the 2. Now I'm gonna take the whisk and mix it And for the final step, I'm going to take this packet of yeast, and if you look, it's really small. This is maybe like the size of a silver dollar. And what you're supposed to do is sprinkle the yeast onto the inside and not mix it. And after I empty this container out, I'm just gonna put the top on, and then we wait for 3 weeks. So I'm gonna try and do this carefully so I don't fuck it up. But if you look inside, it really just looks like a bunch of little seeds. But this is the yeast. So this is going to activate it and get our fermentation process going. Oh, and it's already starting to bubble. All right, let me get all of it out of there. All right, the top is going on. And that's it. I gotta say, even though I've never done this before, just judging by the way it smelled, I'm pretty excited for it. Like I think it's gonna taste really good. The fermenter is now in a cool, dry place, and it's gonna stay there for 3 weeks. And at that point, we'll come back, we'll do another video of the bottling, and then hopefully 3 weeks after that, we'll be able to actually taste it. Until then, I'm going to try and become a little bit more knowledgeable about brewing itself, and I'm gonna use this book. The reason I chose this one is because it has instructions on how to build your own fermenter, and not only that, it has recipes. So next time I'm gonna do everything from scratch, and if I can actually make a recipe from this book taste good, following this guy's instructions, then maybe after that, I'll actually try and make my own beer. Because even though I'm brewing this, and it's a lot of fun, it's still a Mr. Beer beer. And even this, if I go even further and take even more steps to make it more genuine, it's still this guy's recipes. So I hope someday that I can make a beer and it'll be my recipe. So I'll see you guys in about 3 weeks for another brewing video. And before then, I'll see you in more Brew House, and Pat and Kevin will be back.